Nope, and I should have reminded you, so my bad. All right, Kaliska, you have your hand up. You're up first.
Yeah. Um, so we're trying to do our first forum posting in our website. Um, and I have somebody gonna post, but he's telling me there doesn't seem to be a start thread button in the forum area. So he's unaware about how to start one. So can you run through about how to start a thread?
It's difficult because I'm not a member of any of these organizations. Let me think about. Now, I'm going to do this website. This is my own personal test website, so you're going to see a bunch of garbage in here, but
Okay.
this is my playground. So if I go into where did I put my forum? Oh, it's under community. So if I go into here and I say, volunteer opportunities. You're right. Where's the start thread? Am I in the wrong one? Post a discussion right here.
Okay.
So I would then just post it and say, this is my question. And I just have the basic editor enabled. But, if you go into your own profile and go down to Forum General Preferences, you can enable the formatting, the styling tools, the more advanced editor. And you click Save, and then when you edit, you'll have a lot more functionality.
Okay. And then if he's posting like a document for folks, it's our legislative updates that he's trying to put out. So he would just need to attach it in the document area to be able to attach into the forum document. Is that right?
Yep. So,
okay.
Well, he doesn't have to because he can do it here. So he can say insert. Oh, no, you do. Yeah, you do have to put it into the document library first. You're right.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep.
Valerie?
Can I tack on to that?
Yeah.
Because the forum's showing on our front page that she's talking about, but like I can't click on it. I can't post a message.
Which chapter is this? Are we talking about?
OPPA, Oregon. I mean, I'm looking I've looked all through my profile and can't figure out how to like join it and I can't do anything from the front page.
So like general discussions is open to all active members.
Yep.
So if you then go to your profile, what was your last name?
Lelack, Lelack.
And go down to Forum General Preferences. Do you want emails for the forum? You can set that. You are allowed. So it looks like you're participating in the forum. Oh, you don't have a unique. I'm going to get rid of the space just so that you have a unique forum handle.
Okay.
Then go into forum memberships. Post messages on the website only. You've disabled emails and read forum messages on the website only. So if you go to the website, you should be able to post. And you're saying you can't if you log in?
Yeah, so I'm logged in and
So if you go to discussion forums.
Yeah,
and then you don't have the button up here that says post a discussion.
I'm sorry, where's that button again?
Well, it's not on here. I don't, because I'm not a member.
Oh,
so
yes, you don't.
Yeah, but you should have a blue button over here that says post a discussion. Because like Jacob figured it out. I don't, not sure who that is, but must have one of your members.
Okay. I'll have to look at it more.
Yeah, there should be that blue button up there that again, I'm not a member, so I can't post, but you should see that.
Valerie, did you have a question?
I did, thank you. My other question is so we've given you our list of members.
Yep.
And we're also going to want to be able to send out emails to vendors. Do I need to provide a list of vendors to upload? Or if we don't do that by the time we go live, do I have to do them individual manually, or how do we do that? We would have to give them another a profile for vendors, I guess, right? Because they're not necessarily a member, but they're vendors that we want to make sure we contact.
Okay, so here's the way I would do it. I would go into the communication. This is the kind of step one. Go to the communication tab, go to mailing list categories, and create a new category, and we're going to call it vendor.
Okay.
And then we're going to go into control panel, go to the people tab, go to people manager, and you can do this or I can do it because you all get one free non-member upload with your startup fees as well. So
Okay.
if you want to do it yourself, you go to non-member options, click on import non-members.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to click this link here, and it's going to you're going to download a template, and this template is where what you're going to put your non-member, your vendor data in.
Okay.
For uploading. You can't add any columns and you can't delete any columns. Don't change any of the structure of it.
Okay.
Just put your data into it, and then when you do, then you can go down here, select your vendor category, and then select your fake data
Hey,
file
Renee.
and import it.
Not a lot. How about you?
All right. That sounds really good.
Oh boy, yeah.
Well, then,
Someone could mute who's speaking. Sorry.
so what I will do is we'll definitely get with our current administrator, get that vendor list, and then make sure we get that to you because, yeah, if I can get you to do it, that will make my job that much easier.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, send it over to me. I'll take care of it. So.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And then just make sure you let me know, because I won't, by the time this call's done, I won't remember what mailing list category you want. So just let me know what mailing list category you want them added to.
Yeah, and if there's then when I let you know that I've got a list, if I need it to send it to you in a specific format, just let me know and I'll make sure it's formatted properly.
Okay. Do you still have the format that Ronnie had originally sent you?
For our
the
members? Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
Use that, but you can
Okay.
ignore expiration date and member type, because neither
All
one
right.
of those apply to non-members.
Absolutely. Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yep.
Are there any other questions? I have a question, Michael,
Yeah.
speaking with a chapter member this morning. Can you attach files when you're setting up your event? In the event description, can you attach a file, or do you have to link out to the document library?
Yeah, you want to, almost every document you're going to ever share with somebody should be uploaded to the document library first.
Okay.
And then when you go in, you create your event. Ooh, let's see if we have any events here. Okay, so we use the fall conference as an example here. So when we go into the formatted description for the conference, then we can, let's put in a block here, and we'll say insert link, and the link will be to the document library in the document.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
Yep. So that really is the best way to handle it. And do you guys know about this? This is the old editor. You've probably seen this maybe in custom pages. If you click on the little red toolbox on the toolbar, or this little red toolbox, or if you use the HTML element within the emailing module, then you're going to see this edit window, and this is our old advanced edit advanced edit window, and you can set up your own, just like you do with the homepage. You know how you can set up different panels. So I did a 60-40 panel here, but we can add a 75-25 panel. We could add a 33-33-33 panel for formatting your description. And what that does is it allows you to put the content in there, but then the content will automatically resize for different sizes of screens. So if you have a small screen or a mobile screen or a wide screen, it's going to automatically resize that information for easy readability.
Valerie has her hand up.
Yeah.
All right, so you're basically clicked on an event that was in our calendar.
Yes, I just canceled the changes too. So
No, that's
it
okay.
won't
So
save
what
it.
I'm wondering is, so I've got the event posted in there, and it's just basically just data, information, and type. It's not even pretty. It doesn't look like anything.
Okay.
Can I then link that to a page within our site so that they can see all of the information about it? So I got an information page. Would I put that link there for the calendar to go to that page?
Yes, that's right here, event web page.
Okay.
And so if you go into the basic info panel of the event,
Yeah.
and you're going to click on event web page. So you can link to an existing custom page within your site, or if you have an external page, maybe it's an external, somebody has already created a really great splash page for the event or whatever, then you can link to that.
Okay. All right. Because we definitely are going to want to have that page obviously on our website and then be
Sure.
able to link to it from the calendar, but we also want them to be able to view it directly from, if they're selecting on the event button, for example, and
Right.
have that link there. Okay.
What a lot of organizations will do too is they will create a custom page for the event with all the great information, link to it, build a menu item for it, says, come, 2023 annual conference,
Right.
so that it'll take it to them. And then that custom page will have the button to go to the event registration. And then the event registration too will link back to the custom page so that
Right.
regardless of how you got there, you can still get to the custom page.
Right. And we're definitely going to want to be able to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Anyone have a question? I don't see any hands raised.
Well, we can go to, let's go to a module that Ronnie and I were talking about yesterday. Is under your chapter, under control panel chapter, you have this data export. There's going to be a situation where you're looking for reports or data that we just don't have because we haven't thought of everything. We're only 26 people here. We haven't thought of everything. So within this module, you can export an enormous amount of information, and then you bring it into Excel and you can do whatever the heck you want with it and generate all your reports all day long. One of the ones that I really like are this radio button number 2 and radio button number 3, because this gives me information on the active members and information about their membership. So if I want to kind of pull a report and see who's going to be expiring soon or who has expired very recently, I can get that type of information. We can also see what members have, expired and dropped members. So I can get pretty much your entire membership database exported. If you want to just be able to print mailing labels, we'll give you some name and address information. If you want to see who's involved in interest, I don't think many of you guys are using interest yet. Committee members, if you want to get a list of all your committee members. Club financial transactions, that's good for the treasurer. User transactions they would apply to member and non-members. The non-member database, sometimes you want to see who's in your non-member database and get in there so you can figure out who you need to clean up. Bad member email addresses. Now that's not email addresses of bad members, that is bad email addresses of members. So,
Michael, one thing
yeah.
I think would be if I've actually heard some confusion is events. I think there's a lot of confusion around creating events. But how we can set up events such that one person can come in and register multiple people.
Yep.
And whether they, I guess they are a non-member registering multiple non-members or a member registering multiple members, either way, if you could show that.
All right, let me just check something here. Okay, I'm going to use Oklahoma as my guinea pig. I'm going to go back to Oklahoma here, and we're going to go to their events. And oops. So when we're looking at some of your more complex events are going to be either single or multiple activity events. I'll keep this one as a single activity just for ease of, setting up, but we're going to call this event where a person can register multiple people. And let's call this one, oh, I didn't finish cleaning that one up. So we'll set this one up for May 20th. Now, the important thing when you're coming up with the who can register is you want your members to be able to register. So you're going to say, I don't even think we want to call them, but for the sake of this, I'm going to call them primary members. And we'll set a fee of, let's say it's $5. But we want those primary members to be able to register everybody else in their membership. So you want to use the registrant type member, guest, another person in your membership. And those are what we call secondary members. I know you're not using tertiary, so we won't bother with those. Now, if you want that person to also be able to register another member who is not in their membership, then you would use member guest another member. And this is where it kind of gets a little bit confusing. So let's call it this another member not in my membership. And then if you want that member to also be able to register a non-member, you can do that. So this would say non-member. And we're going to charge them $7 because they're not a member. So now we've covered all the bases for one person to be able to register somebody for this event. So if I go to registration and fees and say registration is required, and I'll say I can register a maximum of 5 people. So if I go back to the event now and say register, if I click up, let's see, who do we have? We have Austin. So we'll pick on Austin. It doesn't look like Austin. I don't know if Austin has multiple. Yeah, he doesn't have anybody. There are no primary, secondary relationships set up for Austin. Do you know in Oklahoma, are there any primary, secondary relationships set up? Doesn't look like it.
There are.
I don't.
There are currently no.
Okay. If you're okay with it, I'm going to do this and then let's see, what is Austin? I'm going to add a member.
So do what you need to do.
Okay.
I'm happy being a guinea pig.
We're not even set up for additional members here. Oh, because it's an individual member type. I'm going to switch you to an agency membership. Additional members. Okay, so now we've got a secondary member. So if we go back to that event now, let's go here. Oops, don't forget to save. We'll go to the events, register now. And if I choose Austin and say this member plus 1 guest. Now I have this option say another member not in my membership, a non-member, or a secondary member. And remember, the secondary member is me, right? It's Michael ClubExpress. So if I choose that and I go next, it automatically populates me. So I can choose me. And now I registered both Austin and myself, Austin and Michael, for this event.
Great, thank you.
Does that make
I don't know.
sense?
I don't know if anyone has any questions about this, because I know it's confusing, the various options in terms of registering. Austin, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. I must have missed it. I was trying to create an event based on one that we're going to have in October. I was trying to create it with you step by step, but I missed where we actually set up the registration levels. As far as the fee amounts, and because we all have the
Oh, and the member types?
yes.
So if you go into control panel, go to the people tab and then go down to member types. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, I'm actually talking about registering for the event itself.
Oh, in the event itself, sorry.
Yeah.
So if we look at your events, is it the OCAP form?
Yep.
Okay, so you set those in the who can register panel.
Okay.
So basically you select the registrant types and you say active members and the members, what are the members going to pay?
Oh, that
And then
makes sense.
you'll do that for each of the registrant types.
That's perfect. And then my only other question on top of that was we also use the website currently to accept sponsorship registration.
Yeah.
Would we do that here, or is there a better place to do that?
It really depends on when you have sponsors sign up to sponsor stuff. If you have them sign up to sponsor similar to an event, like you have a defined window where people will sign up, like the month of October, for example, then you can set up as an event and people can just go there and sign themselves up as sponsors. And that works in most cases. You could also set it up using the storefront module, where if you are allowing people to purchase sponsorships anytime throughout the year, then you can do that in the storefront module, where you just set up basically a product, and the product would be, you know, gold level sponsorship for 2023 or something like that. And then they can just purchase it and pay for it.
Okay. Makes sense. Thank you.
Yep.
Teresa?
Yes. While you're here in the events and when the person goes to register and they have to pay for it, it usually gives them like an invoice. When we did an event last year, all we could get an invoice for was to pay through PayPal. It wouldn't change it to like the check format. Is there somewhere where we can do that if they decide to pay by check?
We don't. A lot of it is dependent on how this is configured. So if it's configured to allow checks, then you don't have to do anything, because the standard invoice is going to allow you to, let me see. I think we should have an outstanding invoice right now, which we do. So if I just go to print invoice, it's going to have the information I need to be able to cut a check, hopefully, right? What it's for, the event registration, mid-year change, whatever it would be for. And then who do you make the check payable to? So that's part of the standard invoice.
I think ours is going to PayPal though. So, because that's how we have it set up.
Well, but if you don't choose a payment type, then you always have this button down here to print invoice.
I think also what we're doing with PayPal is we're adding the extra fee. And I think that's what's messing us up. Because we're adding
which chapter are you with?
Copper chapter.
All right, let me see how that's set up.
Because we also do that with our regular membership. And we've been trying to figure out what to do with the $1.25 that people are paying when they're paying with a check.
Oh.
So either we have to go off and create our own invoice separate from the system.
I see. So that is a bit of a challenge, because let's see, I don't see anybody who has any payments pending. That's good. You got people all paid up, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, here's a few of them that are outstanding. So yeah, this one has the $1.25, and then you just print the invoice, right? So if they're just going to mail in the invoice, they just print it. But you're right, that $1.25 is there.
Mhm.
So what you do, this is a sticky point. In 7 states within the United States, it's illegal to pass through credit card charges, right? So the only option we allow you to do is to discount for people who pay by check or credit. So what we do then is if we go into money options and say you're going to offer a discount for cash, and then you have to figure out what the percentage is. So whatever that $1.25 is a percentage of 40, you know, I don't know, was it 8% or what? It's not even 8%, was it 4%? Whatever it is, I don't know. So you would figure out what that discount percentage is. Let's say it's 4%. And then I click on save and I go back to the transaction with the pending payments. And if I am going to pay by check, I guess I was wrong in my calculations. So it comes out to $39.60, but then when I print the invoice, so you'll have to determine what the discount is going to be. You just have to do some backwards math to figure out what it's going to be so that it comes out to $40. That makes sense?
I think so. I think we figured that out because we also prorate our membership. And I
Okay.
think she's our VP of membership has been in contact with your support. So I know she's figured out the discount thing, but if that's what we have to do for other areas as well.
Yeah,
then
it's a
that-
challenge because the discount is a percentage, but you're just increasing everybody's fees by $1.25 to accommodate the credit card fees. So it's never going to be exact, right? It's always going to be up by a few points, a few pennies at least.
Okay. Thank you.
Until all the rest of the other 7 states get on board. It's what we have to deal with.
Okay.
All right, Sean, you had your hand up.
Yes, hello. I'm with the Central Florida chapter, and we use Stripe for our payments.
Yeah.
Previously, the metadata that came from the website included a description of what the payment was for. Now, once we went live with ClubExpress, the metadata only includes a reference number. Is there a way to change what data is sent to Stripe so the report includes a description?
There isn't right now because like in the case where you have agencies, the agency person is paying for multiple memberships. And so there's multiple transactions involved. So we can't send all of that information as a description that refers back to anything. So we just send the reference number.
Okay. Is that
if it was
meant to be improved in
one-to-one,
the
then
future?
it would, I don't know, but that's a good time to bring up, if you have an idea or something you'd like to see in the system, send that idea to, it's the email address is ideas@clubexpress.com. That's plural, ideas. And that's where, our system has grown over the years from these ideas that customers come up with.
Okay.
And I'm sure that's something that other people would want to see as well, because it's, it's not the first time I've heard it either. But the more people request it, the higher it moves up on the priority list.
Thank you.
Yep.
So Michael, Valerie asked about using the storefront for sponsorships. And basically if they are purchased, are they no longer visible on the storefront? Or do they show as sold out?
You can set basically inventory level. So if you have 4 silver sponsorships, and then when that 4th one is sold, it will no longer appear on the storefront. If you only have 1, maybe you only have 1 platinum sponsorship, then you'd set the inventory level at 1.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yep.
And Tabitha, do you want me to read your question or do you want to ask it? It's up to you. All right, I will read. So Tabitha's asking about events. The system provides 2 emails, one upon registration and one upon payment. If payment is provided at registration, can only one email be sent?
That is coming, but it's not here yet. So eventually you're going to be able to, within system emails, determine whether you want 1 email or 2. So it'll, if basically the event registration confirmation and the payment are within certain number of minutes of each other, it would only send 1. Otherwise it would send 2.
And if they send emails to non-members and create specialized distribution lists, can you demonstrate how to create an email distribution list and email to that list?
So if we go to, for non-members, let's see, I'm going to pick on Oklahoma again. Just because they have clean, they don't have members yet. So let's say you've added a non-member. Then, in fact, we'll just do that. We'll go to Michael. And this is that list, right? That mailing list category. So we choose it right off the bat. And we'll put in my email address as Michael at ClubExpress.com. Save it. So now I'm in there with all the other non-members. And I can see my mailing list category by clicking on this icon. And I can see that I'm in the mailing list category of volunteer. So then when we go into the emailing module and add an emailing, let's say this is going to go by from, and the subject is going to be test email. Distribution is going to be it's non-members in a selected category. And I'm going to choose the category of volunteer. Is that the one I did? Is that the one I chose? It was volunteer, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Click add, always click add, and then click save. So now I've got my distribution list. And if I look at it, I can see it's going to go to me.
And can you do this? Can you do this without adding them into the database? Just emailing to them from a upload list, basically, is what she's asking. We don't want to add them to the database at all. We only need to email folks as a marketing campaign.
No, they have to be in the database in order to email them. But you would typically add them as non-members if they're not members.
And then there was one more question with, does that metadata show more than a reference number for your payment processing system? I wonder if that refers back to what you were talking about with Sean, in terms of.
Say that question again, does it?
Yes, Tabitha said yes. Does the metadata show more than the reference number for your payment processing system? It was based on Sean's question about Stripe. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure all the data that it shows going to Stripe because unfortunately I don't have a test Stripe account, so I can't see what goes back and forth between them.
I think she's asking about the ClubExpress processing system. Like if a report is exported through ClubExpress's processing system, would it be more detailed? Because that's the biggest thing for me right now is like as the treasurer, all I get is a reference number. It means I have to go back to ClubExpress, look up the reference number to figure out who it was processed for and what, rather than just exporting the report from Stripe.
But we have reports that do that for you. So if you were to go to like the user payment report, you're going to get that information. So you're going to say,
Right.
This payment was received from this member and here's what the fee was and all of that information.
Okay, so yeah, I think that's what she's asking, like how much more detail is provided through the ClubExpress processing system, payment system, rather than using Stripe. Like if we were to cancel our Stripe account and go with ClubExpress payment.
Oh, how much more? Oh, I see. So how much more information is one or the other? It's going to be about the same because we're using Stripe in the back end. as well. So you're just basically trading one Stripe account for another Stripe account.
But the report will be more detailed. Like that report that you showed me includes the fee. Our reports right now don't include the fee because it's being processed through Stripe.
Yes, that's correct. Yep. So I guess there are some advantages. I never really thought of it like that. So yeah, I guess there are some advantages to using the ClubExpress merchant account versus the other one. Because the money's flowing through us, so we have more control over what we can report on.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're going direct to Stripe without coming through the ClubExpress merchant account, then we don't, the money doesn't flow through us, so we really have no control over what we can report on.
Okay, we might have to transition then.
But now I get the gist of the question now. Okay.
Does anyone else have any questions? I see a hand. Sorry, let's see who's raising. So sorry. Oh, no, I saw a hand. It went away. I don't know. Oh, I do see a hand. Austin.
Hey, so as I'm going through, I'm using the information here to create our event, and one of the sections refers to registration questions. We typically would use these to just gauge if the membership is attending our after-hour event or if there are any dietary restrictions, things like that. When I go in to add the question, it tells me to go in and look for a predefined list of questions. How do I go about doing that?
If you go into the website tab, go to the events. So you get to the events manager, then you go to configure event questions. And this is where you're going to add your questions. Now, if you're talking about, let's talk a little bit about structuring an event. So if you're talking about having people attend an after hours networking event. Oh, were you going to say something?
Where was that again? I must have.
Sorry. If you go into the events manager, click on configure, and you'll see event questions.
Yeah, I'm going to ask a silly question. Where do I go to get to the events manager?
Control panel.
Thank you.
Go to website tab, and then events.
Okay.
Okay, and then go to event questions. So, but if you're talking about like an activity somebody will attend, like an after hours networking event or, wine and cheese or whatever it might be, you might want to set that event up as a multi-activity event. And then people can pick and choose, I'm going to go to the conference. I'm also going to do the after hours networking event. I'm also going to do the excursion tour or whatever. Those would all be part of a multi-activity event that people can pick and choose. But you're right, as far as dietary requirements, that should be an event question. And then, event questions can change their need too. So if people are choosing a meal, let's say, chicken is a different price from fish, which is a different price from pasta, then those would be part of a multi-activity event where people would make their choice and they would be charged a different rate.
Thank you.
Yep. Looks like Connie has a question.
Yeah, I do. If you have another minute.
Sure.
So I'm trying to figure out without messing anything up on our homepage. Actually trying to get my camera on for you. I'm trying to turn on our sponsors, and I only have 3 that I need to add. We already had kind of a placeholder bar on the homepage for sponsors.
Right.
And I couldn't figure out how to manipulate it. And so I created another bar.
Okay.
So I don't know if these just like stay there the whole time or if they like scroll or, but what I'm trying to do is, if I use the existing bar, I need to change some of the logos. And I'm having a little struggle with size.
Yeah. It can be a challenge. You really want them to be on the smaller side for the logos. But if you just simply like click on one of the existing ones and choose change image,
Yeah.
then it's going to keep all of the other settings and literally just change the image. So
Okay.
it makes it a little bit easier for you to swap these out.
So there's 4 here and I only need 3 and I can't figure out how to get rid of 1.
Oh, if you put your cursor in there and go down to the bottom here where it says remove element and just remove it.
Yeah, but there's still like that box.
Only until if you keep clicking remove element, you're eventually going to get to the point where it goes away. There.
Okay. And so then how do those distribute evenly?
Good question. Let's see. This is set up as, oh, it is set up as column quarters. So they're going to have to be, well,
So that's where I set up another row just above those.
yeah.
And I was trying to
set
put the
up
logo in.
So you did
Because
with
then
the
I could
33,
do.
33, 33?
Are you? Oh, you're not under OPPA. Sorry.
No, I'm just messing around here. So if we do
Yeah.
image,
Yeah, and so I did that. But I am having issues with one of the logos, and I was just playing with it. I don't have their actual JPEG, but
what
and I was trying to link to their website in it, so you could just click right on their website.
Oh yeah, then you wouldn't use an image. Then you would use the link element type. So that turns into a link.
Okay.
So then what you're going to do is link to their external page, put in the URL for their page, and then choose the image. And then once you have the image, now going to the issue of the images, it is a difficult thing because you're going to get logos in a lot of different formats. You're going to get ones that are huge and high resolution. You're going to get some that are really tiny, which are probably scraped off of a website somewhere, and you're going to get some that are wide and some that are tall. And so you really have to kind of pick. I pick height. So I say all of my logos are going to have a maximum height of 300, and then the width is I'm going to let be variable. So then I will edit, bring them into Paint or some other image editing software, and I'll just set a maximum height of 300 pixels. And then I'll let it, oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, so I did the pixel, but I am having trouble because I put one image in, it seems to be in the middle, but then another one's like hovering at the top, and I want it like in the center of the box.
Is that because of the width of the screen though? If they're wider? Because if you have two wide images next to each other and the screen isn't wide enough to show them, it'll stack them. Is that what you're saying?
Could it be the cropping of an image? So if you're setting your width pixels for, let's say, 300, but not your height, you might just have a logo that's much higher than another one, and thus it's not placing in the same location in the box.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? So maybe you just need to crop to the exact size of the logo on the top and bottom, and then size it to the pixel width. And then when you're placing it, it should place in the center of the box.
Okay. Okay, that could be, yeah.
And I put a
Okay.
link, Connie, to befunky.com. That's a image software that I use free for cropping and resizing images. So
Oh,
just,
in
I
the,
put that in the chat. Yep, I put it in the chat. So Michael Tabitha had a question about how many non-members can be added to the database. 100,000. Can they be deleted?
Yes and yes. You can add as many non-members as you want. However, once you have a ratio of 5 to 1, so you can have 5 non-members for every 1 active member before you get charged for us keeping your non-members. So if you have 100 members, you can have 500 non-members before we start charging you. And we charge at the rate of 2 cents per non-member per month over the allotted amount. So if you have, again, if you have 100 active members, but you have 5,000 non-members, then yeah, we're going to be charging you for the storage of those non-members, but you can have as many as you want. And as far as deleting them, if you go to non-member options and go to cleanup tools, we provide you a variety of different ways to be able to clean them up. So if you want to delete all non-members in a specific category, you choose the category and you can delete all those non-members in that category. You can find matches, you can find duplicates, and then you can merge. So there's a way to clean up your data that's duplicated. There's a variety of different ways to do that.
Great. Thank you so much. We
Yep.
have once again used a full hour. So I don't know if anyone we have 3 minutes left. Anyone else has another question? If not, then I will say thank you, Michael, so much.
Yeah,
And
very
we
welcome.
will reconvene in 2 weeks.
2
Same
more
time,
weeks,
same
yep.
place.
That's right. Yep.
All
Thank
right.
you,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.